Good afternoon and welcome to our 44th Global Connectivity Conference on Real Estate for CIPS only. I thank you very much and welcome you. And we have very exciting news from Rory Dubin. He's going to give us some introduction about new MOU that he's signing with Canadian Real Estate Association and other areas, one in India. So we're going to start our conversation to introduce each one of you, and then each one of you can have a small market update in your area, and then I'll do my presentation towards the end. So we're going to start with Rory. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us what's going on in your area?
Okay, my name is Rory Dubin, and I am in Northeast Florida, the Jacksonville metro area in the United States. And I do residential, commercial, land, a little bit of everything, leases. And I'm also a managing broker for a 400 agent company that's in 6 counties. And this year I have the good fortune of being president of the Northeast Florida Association of Realtors, which is about 12,000 realtors in Northeast Florida.
Wow.
And since our last conference, I found out I got elected in a contested race for district vice president for next year. So now the area is going to grow. So now I'm going to be covering 5 boards instead of 1 for Florida realtors, including Gainesville, Lake City, St. Augustine, St. John's, and the Amelia Island, Nassau County area as well. So it'll be fun. It's more of a bird's eye view of Florida real estate.
Fantastic.
And I'm looking forward, and I hope everybody watching this is, if they're able to, are planning on going to the NAR convention in that second week or so of November coming up in about a week.
Fantastic. Rory, he will have more news as we introduce each of our participant. So Antonio, your turn.
Turn the mic off. Yeah, hi. Antonio calling from Portugal, CIPS, as well as member of FIAPSI, CREA as well, and NAR, of course, with the CIPS designation, without a doubt. Not going to the NAR convention this year. Got a lot of things already going on. I'm planning to go even now, FIAPSI, the 43rd Global Leadership Summit. We're going to Barcelona. So there, and been going. I'm back in Toronto in May 14 and 15 for Realtor Quest. So Treb, I was actually on the trading some messages with Grace, booking a booth. We're taking out a booth on Portugal, and so. But that's about it. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, even with our events. To Vietnam with Spencer Hu, we teamed up, another CIPS rock star. So we're going to Vietnam. Was there last February. We got the dates for our experience tour in Portugal, which will be May 17th through the 24th. Full details will be released probably over the weekend with the full details of itinerary. Our market still continues to be a warm market, hot in some areas of Portugal. Still prices are defying what's going on in the rest of Europe. I even wrote some things about it this past couple of weeks. And the real estate market, what it looks like for 2025, but it continues. The big priority, or actually lack of inventory, still continues to be a problem here. And affordable housing, we have our challenges too. Not everything is pretty. I think that's a challenge everywhere in the world. So affordable housing and just a few other, but the market continues still to be warm, I would say. Not hot, but not cold either, but warm. Back to you, Tahir.
Thank you very much. Tony, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Tony Nobrega. I'm based in Madeira Island in Portugal. Essentially, I deal in residential property, and I've recently teamed up with EXP Portugal. It's a new concept. It's a North American brand, and expect to create a team in Madeira. We're only a few agents in Madeira. Madeira is a small island, and it's also a small market. I essentially deal with international buyers. The market is overtraded as usual. Many agents coming on board all the time, some coming in, others going out, and the normal story. I am looking for referrals, obviously. Dealing international, we always looking for buyers. The inventory is there is an oversupply of luxury homes for sale in Madeira. Being a small island, people tend to compete with each other in terms of building new houses in expectation that international buyers are just going to come and snap it up. Basically, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. As you know, I am a broker of record and owner of City Pro Realty Brokerage, a small boutique brokerage. And also, I'm a licensed builder. I focus on customized building custom homes and hopefully some high-rise building. And also, I am the principal broker of Canada Express Mortgage. So I kind of created real estate, mortgage, and building homes so we can cover all aspects of it. Being in construction, having a background in there, helped me to educate my clients, either they are in a land development and also something that we cannot buy for our client, we can build it for them with 7-year warranty. In Ontario, you must be licensed by Housing Construction Regulatory Authority to build a home, and you must provide 7-year warranty. So having a technical background, engineering background, and all this experience in the past that I used to work for U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, so engineering background, it helped me to cater all the needs. And I have a team of professionals that are helping it. So if anyone coming your side interested to invest or they want to buy the property in GTA or surrounding city in Ontario, I'd be more than happy to help. Good news is that I've been working on with a buyer. He is president of Real Estate Institute of Canada, Toronto chapter, and also he just received IREM Member of the Year award in the United States. He's my client. So I refer to a gentleman, he's a CIPS, Steve Nesbitt. Yoshi recommended that to me recently. So I introduced them yesterday. So they will be buying about 20 houses in the next 2-3 years. So, and that only possible by connecting with people. Because of CIPS network, having constant, I never thought that it would be possible to do business and make a referral and get a small piece of the pie and also be a part of it. So this is the biggest referral that I have made yesterday. And we connected everybody so they start working on it. And this is Rochester and Buffalo areas. So rest everything is, they decide how they do it. But that's the power of connectivity that we have generated through our Realty Coffee Talk, through our Global Real Estate Profession Network, that once you mature or secure that relationship and bonding with each other, trust, and only person you want to do is to deal with the people that you know. So I was looking, I posted on NAR, I posted on everywhere. Then one of my friends said, talk to Yoshi. So I talked to him because he's in New York. So he said, yeah, I got somebody for you. And he's a senior person, so and is connected. So that's the power of connectivity. So he is a very qualified buyer. He himself is an appraiser, certified commercial appraiser in Ontario, and also from UK, my client. And I was a mentor when he came to Canada, maybe 7-8 years ago. And and so we connected and he became director. I was the director of Real Estate Institute of Canada. I have to step down because I joined the regulator on discipline committee. So we bond together and this is how you build that relationship. And this is very important for all of us to have a very strong bond ourselves. So if anybody there who wants services, and I know Rory will be the first one I would be calling in Florida, North Florida, to help me. If he can, he would recommend somebody. And this is where we want to meet physically. Lots of people are sending me AI connection. I say, no, please come, spend some time, educate us. So before I do anything else, I'm going to ask Rory, because he's doing some remarkable things, signing MOU, he's the president, and I want to hear a little bit more about that. Rory, can you tell us a little bit more about that stuff?
Yeah, so earlier this year, we had done a trade mission to India for 2 weeks, went to 6 or 7 different cities, and in late February, early March, went to the NAR India Real Estate Trade Show and Convention, and then with my friends in India, principally Tarun Bhatia, who I have to let know about this group because he might be interested. At that trade show, he arranged with the different ministers of real estate in India for us to sign an MOU with NAR India, which is countrywide.
Wow.
And then we went to Realty Quest this year in May, and we spoke with Korea, and I've had a long conversation back and forth with Sharon von Schoenberg from Korea, and we are signing an MOU with Korea at the NAR convention in Boston on November 8th. So the convention in Boston coming up is going to be November 5th through 11th, perhaps later in the program after the other gentlemen do a little introduction. I can hit some of the highlights for global, which I have pulled up in front of me.
You want to share the screen?
I have it on my phone. But
if you can share it, I can allow you. Let me.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll do
go
that
ahead.
when the other gentlemen are talking. I will give you a quick market update though for Florida and
Sure.
our part of Florida as well. So the United States has had interest rates that have been fluctuating lately. They went up a little bit. It kind of slowed down the market. Inventory had become very tight, but going into the summer. But now inventory is starting to grow. Time on market is a little bit longer. We have about an average on residential of about 4 to 5 months worth of inventory now. For a while, it was weeks, not months, but now we're back to a balanced market between buyers and sellers. So it's a good time for either one. Plus, the interest rates dropped a little bit lately, and you're talking about the US Fed thinking of dropping the interest rates more. So we think the market's going to pick back up. Some of the things that happened legislatively, though, is Florida. I don't know if you gentlemen heard about this, but several years ago, there was a condo collapse in Miami, right? So it was very bad. And the governor of Florida and the legislature passed legislation 2 years ago in 2022 that all condominiums in Florida had to undergo very stringent inspections now for structural integrity so that doesn't happen again. But that adds cost onto the condos. So one of the things we've been seeing is condo inventory has been growing because there's more sellers and less buyers for that, at least for the time being, because those costs are being passed to the individual unit owners in their condo association fees. So condo inventory is up around 8 or 9 months in Florida versus 4 or 5 for single family homes, townhouses, et cetera. On the commercial market, things are going very well. During the COVID years, the office sector was almost entirely shut down because people were working from home, but now offices are starting to pick back up. We're seeing a lot of new construction in Northeast Florida. What I would tell everybody that's watching, especially our friends in Canada, because we are very big trade partners with Canada, 10% of all the foreign property that was bought in the United States last year was purchased in Florida. And the largest purchaser from a foreign country in Florida was definitely Canada. And it was by a very wide margin. They're way in first place as far as buying and investing in property in Florida and sometimes moving into Florida as well. Then in South Florida, you get a lot of investment from South and Central America, Venezuela, Colombia, Costa Rica are investing in Miami and Broward. But in our part of the state in Northeast Florida, you have a lot of Asian investment. So we have a lot of Vietnamese, Indian, Filipino, a growing Cambodian population. And I just want to let the Canadians know that we have seasons in Northeast Florida. It's not hot all the time like it is in Orlando or Miami. We don't have snow, but it gets cold. We get it into the 20s and 30s Fahrenheit in Northeast Florida. So you truly get seasons, unlike most of the state. So we are becoming a very target-rich area for Canadian investment. They're starting to relook at Jacksonville versus Miami or Orlando. And anybody I can help in the Canadian market, any of your sellers tahir that are looking at either moving to Florida to retire or invest in someplace outside of Canada, happy to help them, as well as anyone in Portugal, although more people are looking at Portugal the other way, including myself. I'm going to give it one final side note, if I could, tahir. This is for Tony and Antonio, so it's very funny. I watch U.S. Jeopardy. I don't watch a lot of television, but I like Jeopardy because of and Wheel of Fortune. You guys probably heard of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. So I've been noticing on Wheel of Fortune, they do a trip someplace overseas on all their shows. A lot of those lately have been Portugal. And I keep saying that, and I said, well, if I ever go to Portugal, I know I have a tour guide over there, Mr. Barbosa, but and I know what I know of Madeira is I know Madeira has excellent wine, so I might have to trade referrals for wine for the other Tony. Thank you, Tahir. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. This is very comprehensive update, and really, we're very proud of your participation and your leadership, and mentoring and educating, and also sharing your knowledge and creating this wider network for our CIP professional. Because when we create this kind of an instrument, signing a memorandum of understanding, you're really expanding the horizon of not only yourself, but your team. People are working with you, not only within your brokerage, but the entire real estate institution where you are involved. And you are being a president, you are amazing. I'm very fond of you. I met you and your lovely wife, amazing personality. And you will not find such a dedication and commitment to our profession like Rory in many, many people that I've met in my life. And we thank you for all your effort and greatly appreciate that. So this is what is all about CIPS. Does anybody know what the CIPS is? Because we have viewers that are watching it. CIPS is Certified International Property Specialist, a designation of NAR. And they are specialized training in buying property in their respective jurisdiction. We are licensed to practice in our jurisdiction. That means I'm in Ontario, and I can buy and sell anything in Ontario. But I have now network. My co-partners, I call them Global CIPS Partner, they have the jurisdiction, they have the license, they are consumer protection law, they do the due diligence, they have the education, experience, and knowledge to help you. So why we do this together as a CIPS? Because we are a global family. We are trying to make a referral to each other to capitalize on the experience. If you look at the Rory's designation, you can't find a space on the screen. So much knowledge and experience, unbelievable. And this is why it's very important that if you need to buy a property in Florida, Jackson, Florida, who should I be recommending? Rory, because he has a wealth of knowledge, and knowledge is power. And our global connectivity network that we have created is to use each other and make a referral to each other. And this is why it's very important to all of us viewers. If you're watching this program, go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will learn a lot about our institution, and we will be able to talk to you about this. So, and this is very important that you all learn. Sorry for interruption. I just forgot to turn on my phone. And this is very, very important that we connect with each other. And here we have local, because there are jurisdictional issues, there is compliance issues, There are practices, experience, knowledge of the industry, geographic, and some technical skills that you need depending on what you're buying. You're dealing with a local buyer, you're dealing with an international buyer, and financing issues, legal issues. I was just making reference this morning about one of my a dear friend and colleague. I'm no longer a director there, but he's my client. I refer to him. You know what he did? He gave a statement. What is his vision? Why he wants to acquire properties in the U.S.? What method he wants to use, and what is the return on investment that he's predict? What kind of legal counseling, taxing information that I need from the partner who's going to be working with him. And he has to buy about 20 houses in next 3 years. He said, if I buy 6 to 7 houses per year, I will meet my target. So it was good to hear because he's a qualified professional. And I enjoy working with clients who are well educated. And I have yet to get something going for Antonio because of my wife not being well, so I have limited myself in certain areas. But definitely, Portuguese family here is very interested in buying properties overseas. I have a huge following within the Portuguese group. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do some one-to-one really episode that I want to do with Antonio, so we can promote that. So I think in next week, in November, we will definitely, Antonio, I'm going to talk to you and we record something. And thank you very much. So Tony, do you have anything else you want to say before I do presentation?
Not really, no. Have you anything to ask? You're welcome to ask me any questions.
Okay. So we're going to do that. And Antonio, do you have any specific project right now that you want to introduce to the audience who can hear that?
Sure. Well, one is I'm going to reach out to Tony because do have a referral for Madeira, a client of ours from San Francisco that I'm working with in the next couple of days or weeks. I'll reach out, Tony. Okay. Definitely
Okay.
CIPS,
Okay.
as you mentioned, Tahir, having the designation. It's not only about the designation; it's about the people that are present as well. That you can trust. They're in the meetings here. They're taking the time. They know the value of being here and building the relationship, and that's what it's about. So it's not just choosing a pretty face in Madeira. It's not about that. It's choosing a person that that is there as well. So that's important. In terms of projects, I could probably share one where Tahir, I think I sent the details to you and everybody knows.
If you want to share it quickly, you can do that. I give you 5-10 minutes to do that. Then I will do my presentation.
Then you know what I need to do. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Give me a second. It's just hopping on here and opening this up.
Yeah, I think you need to upgrade your camera. I think it's not colorful.
No, you know what it is? When we started a half hour ago, there was so much sunlight, then all of a sudden it became dark clouds. And let me go turn on the light. Hold on, give me 1 second. And so
now we can see better.
No, hold on, and it even gets better. Hold on, because it just all of a sudden there's like I have a big window and beautiful view, but if it's so dark? I mean, all of a sudden, now you guys have not changed the clocks yet. We've changed our clocks already back here in Europe, and you change it on Sunday, so that's something else as well. Yeah. So if you want to. Give me 1 second and I'll pull this up really quick here. This is a development project. What we're doing, we're actually closing on a transaction probably today or tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday here, so I don't know. It's complicated. I have to speak to the lawyer. But here, let me see. Where do I go here to share screen? Oh, I see here.
I already allowed you.
All right. Here we go. Okay, so this, I think you can see the screen here.
Yeah.
That here, and what you have, these are ultra luxury and modern apartments. They're under construction. They're probably in the next year, 2025, towards the end, they'll be finished. The price is starting at 260,000 for a one bedroom, 390 for a two bedroom, and even a three bedroom starting at 425, 435. Beautifully finished. These are pretty much about 40% of the build is already finished, and it's a big master plan. So we've sold over 100. Well, in this development, there's over 100 sold. We have now probably another still 300 to build, and this is a developer that we work with. We're going to have 1,200 units to sell in Porto, as well as in Comporta. Comporta is right below, between Lisbon and the Algarve. Okay, and so this is one beauty, and it's great location because it's literally 7 minutes walking from the center of Viana do Castelo. Viana do Castelo is by far one of the most beautiful cities of northern Portugal. Okay, this is just what the building looks like, and you could see alongside the river. So it is, and there's services. And what's great about this building, and I think this is a trend for future the developers and builders, what they need to have in mind is that you got to have services around that development. Okay, remember we went to the well and we saw where it's shopping, where it's restaurants, shopping malls, and also services like medicine, right? In terms of physical therapists, eye doctors, etc. So having all this incorporated, it's a service-oriented development. You could see here, there's probably well over 100 units are sold. We still have over 300 to build alongside there. So it's a big master plan. Hotel Malia is going to be built there. It's a 4-star hotel. Everyone knows I think the Malia brand, right? The chain. And what's great about this Tahir, we worked out a special in terms of compensation with the builder, where for any realtor, CIPS or ARIA member or FIAPSI member or CREA member, we can pay a 5 apples. We can't talk about numbers, but because the way we've done it, and we do well with a lot of realtors here in this building or in this development, is most definitely because they send us the clients. We're able to compensate them a nice, generous compensation on the transaction. And we've been doing with a lot of realtors with their referrals. Again, we're closing one, the realtor out of New York City. She's with Compass. We're closing on that deal as well. So again, prices, 1-bedroom apartment starting at 260,000 euros, which is equivalent to 330,000 US dollars. And so you're looking at around 350,000 Canadian, right? And it goes up and up. And there's one penthouse, 4-bedroom. It's a home over 3,000 square feet. There's one left, 1,320,000 euros. So the other one, one is on each end. One is already sold. And you could see here's a beautiful development, but the quality and the service-oriented development. That's where, when we were at the Wells, it was a beautiful development, right? I remember seeing it here. It was something out of this world that where you can only dream about it in a lot of other places where you have everything there. That's a neighborhood. That's like a city within a city, right? And so this here, you have all the services oriented with the building that's going to be built there. So thank you for sharing, or letting me share rather. And I'm going to stop screen share. Let me see if I could do this. I think I could do this here. Huh? I don't know. Interrupt. There it goes. That little red button. There we go. Back to you, Tahir. Thank you.
That's very good. Now, question I have for you before I do my presentation is that how much they charge monthly expenses?
You have a 1-bedroom apartment is going to be 50 euros a month. The building itself, all the buildings have solar panels, even for the elevators. So it's like having a battery pack, right? That for all the electricity that the common areas use. So, and even the green areas outside is maintained by City Hall. So the expenses, it's a development. The City Hall maintains it. So it's always green. Everything's taken care of, grass cut, nicely taken and manicured lawns or outside, everything. And so the 1-bedroom apartment is at 50 euros a month. the 2-bedroom apartment, 75 euros, and a 3-bedroom apartment, 100 euros a month, because it has to do with size.
That's the reason. And how
Taxes
much
are
is
real
a
low too. Taxes here for a yearly council tax, you're looking at like the 1-bedroom apartment, you're going to be paying around 400 euros a year for taxes for that.
The other question I always ask is that what is the approximate closing cost other than the value of the property? Let's say you're buying it at 350. What is the closing cost, which includes legal transfer of ownership, title, and appraisals, finance, whatever.
Well, even our broker fee, because sometimes we represent buyers and buyers are the ones compensating us. That's nothing new for us here in Portugal or for us for our team.
Also, the buyer pays for your services.
Sometimes, but not in this apartment, not in these apartments, because we have compensation from the owner. But we have sometimes where a buyer, we're not getting any compensation if it's an off-market listing. If it's a for sale by owner, we don't have any listing agreements with them. We got to have an agreement with the buyer, right? What's going to be compensated for our service. So we're representing the buyer, not the seller. So we're not getting any compensation from the seller. So, and we do that a lot here. We do it in Portugal, or at least our team, we do with a lot of off-market properties. And it's more transparent in that way, an offer. But when you are looking at any property, you're looking at between 6 to 8% on top of the added costs, registry fee, the notary fees, registration fees, property transfer taxes we pay in Portugal, okay, which is probably represent about 40% of the total cost of add-on fees goes all to the government. And that's because of the property transfer tax, stamp duty, okay, stamp duty, etc. The home inspections, this, that, our broker fee, look on 6 to 8% on top of the, so if you're buying something 300,000 euros, look at it like realistically between around 18,000 euros for all the added on costs to here.
Yeah, this is very important. Viewers, you're watching this program, and we have done the 43 episode before. This is our 44th. When you're buying a property overseas, you need to deal with CIPS, our global partner, because they're educated. They will educate you. In Ontario, when you're buying a residential property, I'm not talking about non-residence, I'm talking about residence property, the cost of closing is approximately 2% of the purchase price. This is my estimate based on my almost 20 years experience in real estate. If you buy in Toronto, there is a additional land transfer tax. So cost of buying a property in Toronto will be about 3.5% of the purchase value of the property. This is for budget purposes, so you're preparing the mindset of the buyer when they're buying a property. Foreigners are treated differently. I always advise to hire your accountant, lawyers, to get a legal advice, accounting advice, because when you're investing, and this is why it's very important that we, as a CIPS part of our Global Real Estate Professional Network, we can refer to the qualified professional who's engaged, who can provide a wealth of knowledge and experience. Because when you are investing in a foreign country and you are taking a flight going overseas, you don't know who to contact for real estate services. So if you, as a local, I am a CIPS, I am practicing in Ontario, so all my Canadian who are watching this, call me, contact me, and I will refer you to the person who is suitable for you. And this is why it's important not to make mistake. People will buy the property, and this has happened in disciplinary hearing where the realtor did not mention about the closing cost, approximate cost. And they realized that at the time of closing, they're short of funds. And shortage of funds will happen when appraised value before closing for conventional mortgage, when you are putting 20% down and your appraised value came lower than the purchase on the APS, and then buyer is trying to get more money to pay for the difference, and then you have a closing cost, there is a variation. So that's why it's very important to deal with a most qualified professional, that you are able to secure the advice, that you don't make mistake. And this is why we are doing this, our monthly conference, to connect with our people. So, Antonio, you go at it 1 minute because I have to start my presentation. It's going to be short.
Sure. Now, real quickly, and just to follow up on your point, it most exactly it is true. Definitely a professional. Adding on those, knowing we mostly work with buyer representation. That's our niche market. Listings, we have thousands of listings. We do, but they're from builders, right? And so we don't worry about the individual listing that much. We worry about the more, and it's important to get all your ducks in a row for your buyer. When any buyer here, just so you know, Tahir, we're closed on a property with a realtor, actually, CIPS realtor from California, and bank loans. Okay, so now interest rates here, that was another something that to mention. Interest rates, the European Central Bank cut it another 25 percentage points. So we're at 3.25 from the Euribor, that's the standard that the European Central Bank lends money to Portugal banks. And then you have what's called the prime, of course, it's called the spread. That's what's added on top. So you're looking at, interest rates here a little lower now, and foreigners can get a loan up to 70. Actually, this realtor buyer that we helped got 80%. Actually, it was 82%. Don't ask me why, but it was 82% of the financing. So it is possible for foreigners here in Portugal using a Portuguese bank, of course. Okay, there are trusted professionals for that too. Back to you, Tahir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to point out to you that in Canada, our interest rate is going since in 2024, they have reduced 1.25 altogether. So our Bank of Canada benchmark rate now is 3.75. It was 5 before. So it is creating opportunities for people who were expecting another 0.5% cut in December 11. This is my prediction. I predicted that 0.5% cut in October 23rd. Exactly that happened. Now I'm predicting for November is going to cut another 0.5%. So that means they're going down because there's a lot of properties. The reason happening is, let's assume the people have a mortgage, $1 million, and they were paying 1.5, 1.6, less than 2%. Now renewal is coming. It's going to double, triple that because bank needs 2.2%. If you look at the prime rate here for the variable mortgage, so 3.75 add 2.25. So their prime rate now is 5.95 right now by all the banks. So the fixed rates, banks are in fact increasing rates to get more money because the rate is going down. So there is always a challenging time, but this is why it's very, very important when you are dealing with a CIP professional and we have thousands of years of experience. So if I combine all four of us, at least we have maybe 100, 200 years of experience here because of age and experience working with in combination, or especially with Rory. And this is where the power is, that you don't mistake and you want to make sure. And what happens is you get a repeat customer when you have a client. You have served better. So who is the best person to serve you is your CIPS partner. So anybody who's watching this program, please connect with me, connect with Rory, connect with Antonio, connect with Tony, and we can help you and we refer you to the right person to help and protect you. So I'm going to do a small presentation and then we're going to have an open conversation continue. Okay, let me see this here. Okay. Put the sound just in case. And here's my program. I'm going to start from here, slide. Okay. So as you know, this is our 44th. We are so proud that we have consistently, exactly, we have gone through this process. And today is Halloween. So there will be a lot of candy. Be safe. Make sure when you are distributing candies to the kids, they are not, they may be allergic to something. So be careful when ask them if somebody candy or whatever you're giving out. But happy Halloween to all of you.
It's also Diwali for the Indian people.
Yes, Diwali, yes. Thank you very much for pointing out. So the Realty Coffee Talk is really the foundation behind this when I started 7 years ago. and is on the TV. And tonight I will be going there. Even though I'm telling them I need to cut down now time, but they still want me to continue. So create connectivity. Why is it important for connectivity? Because we need to increase awareness. So I am meeting with you. You are sharing your knowledge with me. I'm sharing my experience knowledge with you. And that is where our network is growing. And why we're doing it? Because we want to build confident consumer who are our client. They're the one who's going to be buying the property. And the more we educate them, the more we connect them, the better we are. And we also promote good ethics and business practice because we are member of NAR. And this is where I always talk about it. The word is in your hands because we're CIPS. Look, Portuguese, Florida, me, Toronto, we are connected all here talking to you guys. And so the most important thing is to create the relationship. My goal is to ignite the spirit of connectivity and cooperation between our network. And we make referral. What is the purpose? Is to make referral do business. This is how not only we connect, but we also create business, and we are governed by the highest professional standard practice of CIPS designation of NAR. And this is where our standards are. This is a small, I'm going to cut the screen here. And this is our geographic map where I serve this area. This is part of Toronto Region Real Estate Board. And we have these are regions, Dufferin, Durham, Halton, Peel. I'm in Peel, Simcoe, Toronto, and York. These are the area that I serve. Ontario is very big, but this is Toronto Regional Real Estate Board that I'm a member. Now, I just want to share, I'm going to put this on the top screen because I don't want to see. So this is the latest report from Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, is that if you talk about detached homes, so average price, we have two areas. 416 is primarily Toronto area. So a detached home there is 1,685,755. Whereas in 905, which is my area, is 905 is 1,333,394. Now, these are generic based on all transactions. In 905 has a Mississauga, Oakville, Milton, Brampton, and many other areas. So I always advise viewers who are watching this program to please consult with a realtor professional in your area. If you can't find one, give me a call and I can help you. Now, it's against the law to give advice, opinion, or guidance, or share any information or showing a property unless the consumer has engaged and retained the services of a real estate brokerage or designated representation agreement is signed between the brokerage. We cannot give opinion. We can only share information. We cannot book a showing. Only listing agent, which is available on MLS, which is we give out in the open houses. We cannot give opinion and advice. And this is why there is no customer service, whether you are working with a realtor or you are a self-representative party. This decision was made on December 1st, 2023. TRESA came effective, a new law that regulated real estate profession in Ontario. So either you are hiring, working with a brokerage, or you are not. You are a self-represented party. So this is why it's very important. This is general public information that I'm sharing with you. On this side, the sale transaction, you can see the figure. So SAMI in 416 is almost 1.3 million. And 905 is less than million, 949,609. Townhome is in 416, 978,000. And you can notice that townhome in Toronto is greater than the SAMI in 905. So you can see that variation, okay? And 887,023. And these are average between the both of them. So condo apartment, this average price is 707,917. it does not talk about 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or 3 bedroom. It does not talk about anything. They just adding 1,312 condo apartment together to come up with average price. Similarly, on the semi-detached, went backward. So again, the average price of a condo is in 905 is 633, 606. But if you look at the location, it is different for each property. And even in Mississauga, we have quite a few zones. Each zone price is different. So therefore, it's very, very important for the consumers to speak to a real estate professional, so you are able to get everybody to give them a good opinion once they engage with them, because now they have to have a relationship. Now, if you look at the average price range, the percentage, detached home, 416 minus 2.4 compared to September last year, and a 905 area minus 0.5. That's a reduction in price as compared to September. I'm going to share the screen later on to show you the other areas last year or before that. Sammy, there was an increase in 1.3% as compared to September, but it was a minus 2.1%, 2.0 for Sammy in 905. And townhome, minus 1.7 in 416 and minus 4.1%. So see, it creates a lot of challenge for real estate professional to do their due diligence, create your comparative market analysis, look at the projection, look at the reports. We have a report from Korea, Canadian Real Estate Association. We have URIA. We also have a Toronto Real Estate Board and other boards. So that make life very challenging for people. And this is why it's very important for consumer to hire and engage with the real estate professional who has credential, experience, knowledge to protect the person. If you're buying a property is going down, who can give big advice? Who has the knowledge of the industry, the marketplace? So condo apartment is minus 3.5 as compared to last year, September to 23-24. And average price is minus 4.1% 905 area. So this gives you an idea. I'm going to give you a summary next page. I'm going to make the screen here a little bit smaller. If you look at this here, sale transaction is showing here 8.5% sales up. So sale is going up because interest rates start coming down. But the new listing is 10.5% greater than 23-24 in September. But the active listing is 35.5% higher than what we had in 2023 as compared to 24. But the average price for September is minus 1%. So now, last year it was 1,118,205, and now is 1,107,291. You can see that there is an increased more active listing there. So that means it still is a buyer's market. The problem is affordability, and that's where the challenge is. So it's taking longer. List day on the market, 20 versus 27 days, 35% increase. And property day on the market is 30 over 43, 43% increase. So this side is basically a graphic of what we show here. And this is very important for you to understand. When we look at this historic history, 2011 to 2022, it was in 2011, it was 464,989. In 22, it went 1,190,740. Double, triple the value of the property. And now in 23, and we can see that we have a 75,000 transaction in that in 2022. In 23, we have a 65,884. And you can see the average price, considering all transaction, was 1,126,279. Let's look at this 2024 statistic. We are 51,828 transactions for last 9 months. and average price is 1,120,216. So that means we're getting close. We still have 3 more months. October property, I think in a couple of days we should have the October information. But you need to look at the prediction and trend, why this historic data is very important. In January, we started at 1,025,000. In February, we went to 1,009,000, so it jumped. In March, we went to 1,121,000, higher. Then in April, we went 1,154,000, trend. May, we went 1,165,000, up. June, we went 1,161,000, up. But then in July, we went down 1,107,000. Then in August, we went further down, 1,074,000. And now we are up again from June. So purpose of the historic information is to predict a competent advice to your client. And this is why it's very important to create a report. This information is available from my Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. This is the information. We need to learn how to utilize this information. This is the Canadian Real Estate Association data and forecasting. If you can see that, I'm going to only mention Canada, Ontario, and then we will pass it on. So this is about sale forecast. So they are saying in Canada-wise, in 23, we were minus 11.2% off the 22. But in 24, we're going to have a sale up 5.2%. And they're predicting 25 will be 6.6%. So I am in Ontario. So we were minus 12.3 based on Canadian. You have to remember that when Canada give you information, Canadian Real Estate Association, they're only providing information as available through MLS. They are not providing information about the private sale, the builder sales. They are not included in this statistic. That's why they need to hire a qualified person to help them to come up with a price, because you have to go check the land registry or geo warehouse to see which privately property sold, so you can analyze and give good opinion. So in Ontario, we're expected 1.5% increase as compared to 2023, and whereas we were negative in 23, but they are predicting 9.9% increase in 25. You know why? Interest rates are going down, and that's why the sale is going to go up. Affordability will be issue. People can afford more. And right now, the panic is there will be more property coming because lots of people are renewing their mortgages and they're going to have a difficulty to get the financing. And OFSI, which is control the what they call a stress test. There is a rule that allows people to qualify for mortgage to add 2% contingency funds in case fluctuation of interest rates goes up. They can afford it. They don't get default. So they have now eliminated that for renewal of the mortgage for the people who have a more than 20% equity in the house. For example, if I want to renegotiate a mortgage, I have no choice to stay with my existing mortgage bank or lender. Now I can solicit, new rates or comparative bid for my new rate for the renewing my mortgage. Before I was not able to do that because I may not qualify for having this 2% on top of that. And this does not apply to high ratio mortgage. They still have to qualify. So basically, it looks pretty good for Ontario. I think the Ontario has the highest projection for 25. You can see from here, Saskatchewan have a 6% and British Columbia has 8.5. So there's a lot of activities happening here. These are the average price forecasts. So they're expecting, we were minus 3.7 in 23 as compared to 22, but they're expecting about 0.9, let's say 1% increase as compared to 23. And they're projecting now 4.4% for 24. So people will see the return on investment. most cases, when we evaluating property, we always think about that if you are carrying a house for a long time and you're not building any equity, it's better to offload, regardless of affordability issue. Now they can see that period of high interest rate is going down. Therefore, they can see 4.4% projection across Canada is very reasonable. But if you look at Ontario, they are still saying here that in 24 it will be minus 1.6%. That means you spend more money to live in the house. Unfortunately, the rental is gone up. So people have, I have encouraged people to, to build their legal basement and get rental incomes to support your payment. And lots of people are doing it. In fact, my company, THUR Construction, which is licensed builder, we are doing building permits for people to get the legal basement because that will generate income. If you don't have a legal basement, in case of a fire, the insurance will not pay money. And that's why. Now you can see that in 25, we're expecting 2.4%, 2.4 to 2.5, 3% is the average increase of value or in the forecasting average price in this area, which is appreciation. So this gives you a little idea about what's going on in Canadian market. I think you're familiar with that already. I'm not going to spend time. Basically, is very important thing is buyer checklist. This is I was talking, Tony, this dog, Antonio, this is buyer checklist that we need to provide information. If somebody wants to buy a property in Portugal, they will expect what expenses. If you can create the list for me, I would appreciate that. Same thing, Rory, in North Jacksonville, what are the costs over and above the value? If you want available next week, we can do a small 10-minute video for each of you we talk about specifics. So just text me the program. We can talk about that and we can record a video so we can share our network. I think this we're going to do more now. This is familiar checklist. If anybody needs any help, let me know. Again, we have created this by a real estate process. What we do when we connect with the CIPS professional, we search data, make an offer, and mortgage appraisal, inspection conditions, then send APS to the lawyer for completion of transaction because lawyer does the closing here. Lender send money. Yes, buyer financing is available. A lawyer will also transfer deeds and mortgage charge registered and secure title. And there is a title insurance. You got to have it before against the title fraud. And this is important things to remember. Estimating closing costs, non-resident foreign tax. There is a 25% tax here for non-residents. And with holding money, the lawyer will hold the money for CRA to get a certificate. We always recommend chartered accountants to get advice and consultants, similarly for the lawyer. And foreign buyer can buy property and secure mortgage financing. And there are some restrictions for residential properties now that they are allowing development and bigger project for foreign buyers, unless you are a residence. And I'm going to show you next slide. And real estate is not related to immigration. It's a totally independent process. So now real estate, this is where I record and upload our episode. Let me see if there's a sound.
To learn more about real estate and mortgages, please visit Realty Coffee Talk and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. To learn more about real estate and mortgages, please visit Realty Coffee Talk.
Okay, anyway. So anyway, I'm sure you both, all of you are member of our group. And we're going to have our 25th Global Connectivity Conference on November 8th, Thursday. Is always last Thursday of each month between 1 and 2. Thank you for watching. I'm going to disconnect that and see where we are now. And where is Zoom? And stop where is it? So thank you very much. And I'm going to expand this one here and we're going to go this. Thank you for watching. Any comment? Most welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Tahir,
Yes.
I did put the entire global schedule for the NAR convention if you want to post it somewhere on your page for
Sure.
Boston next week. It's got every global event by date.
Okay, good. So what you can do is, let me stop this. Its screen is, what is it? It's going to go down. Oh, sorry. Okay. Second.
Top right-hand corner. There you go, right there.
Yeah. Okay, so most important thing is, Rory, I want you to, I think I have made you guys administrator also. You can post in our Global Real Estate Professional Network. Anything you want to post. I have a WhatsApp group where I am sharing with that. We have all the members, not all of them, but I think 60, 70 members are there. You can always share that. I want to make sure, I think you are in there. You can share information there. That's the purpose of it, disseminating information to all the members to know that how we are doing it. So we have reached our point. If you have anything else you want to add to it, please feel free to do that before we end our program.
Trick or treat. Give me some candy to eat.
Okay. So, Tonio, so thank you very much for your coming. And Rory, you have anything else to say about your schedule or anything?
No, sir. I will post some things on the page though.
Yeah, so you have our Facebook page where you can post it, and WhatsApp group. When I see from there, I'll take it out and I put it in our group. That way is one message goes to everybody. Well, we're going to end our program. We are running out of time. I take this opportunity to thank you, gentlemen, for attending it. It's my great honor to see you guys dedicated, committed to our profession, and particularly, Rory, for your tremendous contribution to our profession. It's admirable. It inspires people that getting a little bit senior doesn't mean anything. We are still have energy and we want to share our knowledge with you, all of you. Thank you very much. May God bless you all. May God bless everyone. Take care. Bye for now.